Yeah, okay, good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Dropping heat like every season. Underdog like Willie Beeman.
All right,
Classic like Dom
welcome.
singing,
We
blasting
just
like
watched a
Bonds
terrible
ringing.
football game. And look, I'm just going to get straight to the point here because I could care less about the outcome of this football game. It was terrible to watch. The argument we had, whatever. I don't care. This game is it was so irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. What I really care about here is Justin Fields' future. The body language going onto the field, coming off the field, pre-game, post-game press conference, not even press conference, but just on the field interview. His demeanor throughout the game just was screaming, "Get me the hell out of Chicago." And he finally got to do it on center stage to show everyone, look, I'm good enough to make a bad situation okay, and I just want out. So there's no doubt in my mind from his body language and everything that's going on, and then the picks that
You've
the
been
Bears
watching his
have.
body. You've been watching his body pretty closely. I'm just wondering.
Can I
Just
get
wondering.
can I get through this?
Yeah. Go on.
And with the picks that they have going into this draft, most likely the number 1 and then another top 10, there's no way he's on the Bears going into the 2024 season. So to answer your question, yes, sure, I've been watching his body.
You've been watching his body. All right.
Okay. Here's three possible trade destinations that I think are realistic, that give the Bears decent trade compensation and allow Justin Fields to actually have a career in the NFL. This first one is the New York Giants. This is like, you're kind of just going to another bad situation, but here's what the package looks like, and here's the how this kind of makes sense. The Giants have the 6th pick. I don't think that they're going to give that up, but you could get something like a 2nd and a 3rd for Fields. You take your 1st pick and you spend it on defense. Maybe you get a blue chip linebacker, safety, corner, something along those lines. Or better yet, what I would like to see them do is get a receiver. You're going to lose Saquon in the offseason, fine, whatever. But this is the chance.
Where's Saquon going?
He's a free agent. Like they franchise tagged him this year, but he's going to be a free agent. I find it highly unlikely that they re-sign him again this year or this next year. And so you lose Saquon, okay, but this is Dayball's chance to just hit the reset button, and you just kind of the organization as a whole just kind of takes the L on Daniel Jones and paying him a ton of money. That's the first one. That one is just kind of like, it's kind of a lateral move for Justin Fields. You have a guy that actually knows what he's doing in Dayball, but you're not really getting any better per se. Second one here. This one I like the most for Justin Fields, but the third one is my favorite. So this second one is to the Steelers. Okay. They have the 23rd pick, and this situation is essentially Super Bowl or bust in the next 3 years. They're going to give up probably their 1st round pick, and then they have 2 4ths. So their 1st and a 4th, and just go play football. Get the trade done, obviously, if not as soon as the last game plays, as soon as you can trade, do it, or at the draft, so that you have the max time for Justin Fields to actually make this work. You get a real OC, and then you're looking at possibly Ravens 2.0. Like, in the next 2 years, they could be winning a Super Bowl with the weapons they have. And then obviously we see how talented that defense is. You're looking at, to me, that's, like I said, I think it's possibly a Ravens 2.0. This final one is my favorite. Justin Fields to the Broncos.
Oh, didn't see that one coming. Who possibly could have saw that one coming, huh?
Now, this one is essentially I called it, in my notes, I have it as, quote, the understudy. You go and you give up either maybe a 1st and Judy, or who's basically equivalent to a 3rd or 4th, or you give up a defensive piece, a 5th rounder, and then Judy, something along those lines, spare parts. They don't need a ton in the draft anyways, but in this scenario, Wilson's better. So your 1st round pick is not going to be that high anyways. Go get a receiver in the 1st round if you're the Broncos. grab Justin Fields, and then have him sit under Wilson for the next 2 years. Wilson's good enough to where they're a decent team, but not good enough to where they're going to have a high pick in the next couple of years to where they can actually get a quarterback. So you trade for Fields, you have him sit under Wilson for 2 years. His contract becomes either tradable or cuttable. Either way, it doesn't really bother me. But then in 2 years, you're looking at, this is possibly Mr. Young Unlimited. So
what possibly can Russell Wilson teach Justin Fields about the game of football?
my point with that is that they have such similar play styles where it's very move the pocket. Like, if you want Justin Fields to last in the league, he has to become what Russell Wilson was in Seattle, where you're moving the pocket, you're scrambling, you just let him cook. You let him use his legs instead of trying to move it down the field. You use it to extend plays and move the ball with your arm. And then in this scenario,
think Justin Fields and Russell Wilson play the same game of football?
I'm saying if Justin Fields wants to have longevity in the NFL, he has to become essentially what Wilson was in Seattle.
All right, that's a better take.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't agree, but let's move on.
So essentially, in this case, Sean Payton gets his quarterback for the future, and you finally move off of Judy, and it kind of, that one's my favorite. But the one that makes the most sense to me that I think has the highest upside, obviously, is the Steelers. These are just three that I threw together in the last 10 minutes, but no matter what, Justin Fields won't be a Bear next year. That's the end premise.
I think I would be more excited for Sean Payton with Justin Fields.
Of the three?
Yeah, instead of Russell Wilson with Justin Fields, I'd be excited to see what Sean Payton can make out of the kid.
Well, sure, but either way, he's going to have to sit behind Wilson probably for a year or two, which is not the end of the world. He's 24 right now, so he'll be 26, 25, 26.
You think a guy goes from running a team to being a backup for a year or two?
I mean, I know it's not equivalent. We're talking about two very different players here in ability, but look at Zach Wilson.
You're such a piece of garbage.
I mean, that's what the expectation was of Zach Wilson. And then he didn't play well and they got Aaron Rodgers. I'm saying off of expectation, that's a realistic comp.
No, I don't agree, because it was like Justin Fields was the guy. Zach Wilson has never been the guy. And then
he was supposed to be, though. His expectation was to be the guy. He was the second pick, Zane.
Yeah, but
you don't draft a quarterback at 2 on a whim.
What did he played one season, right? Or 2 seasons? It was 1 season as a starter.
Yeah. As a dedicated starter.
Yeah, he played 1 season at the starter, and then Aaron Rodgers comes over. I mean,
well, 1 year as a starter, and then the second year was kind of everyone.
Yeah, I think it's a little different, because Justin Fields, this is his team. He's been running this team for a little bit.
It's different. It's just the only, that's the closest comp that I can give you right now if you want one. But either way, I think it's not a bad thing for him to sit back and learn for a year or two. It's not, Russell can teach him enough with Sean Payton. It's going to be mostly Sean Payton, but if you have somebody in Wilson, where obviously we saw how bad his career was, the turn his career took last year, and then he's turned it around this year and been a top 10 guy, and you can get him preaching to Justin, look, listen to what Sean's saying. And
he's going to do a lot of preaching. Let me tell you, he'll do a lot of preaching over there.
But do you see what I mean, though? That makes sense. That to me has the highest upside.
What can you name Can you name one specific that Russell Wilson's going to teach Justin Fields?
Like I said, it's learning to use your legs to extend plays rather than move the ball down the field necessarily. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for him.
So Justin Fields doesn't know how to use his legs.
No. You're just
playing
said? Devil's advocate right now. You're just playing devil's advocate.
No, that's what you said. You said that Russell Wilson's gonna teach him how to use his legs to move the team down the field. What you said?
I'm saying to extend plays, not he can. Justin Fields knows how to move the ball down the field with his legs. I'm saying to extend plays because that's what's going to matter for his longevity. He can go and be. He's not Josh Allen, where he's 6'5", 2 whatever, and he can go run over somebody. Him running down the field. We had the same thing with Lamar. It's not sustainable. The whole argument with Lamar these last couple of years has been it's not sustainable for him to be running all the time. And that's the same thing with Justin. He's not an overly large guy.
I think he's like 220.
Sure, but like same thing with Jalen Hurts. Outside of the tush push, do we want him running around on the field? If they have a comp kind of build, we don't want Jalen Hurts to be running around on the field. We want him to be tossing the rock for 300 yards.
Yeah, but then the argument goes, I'll just make a quick point that if somehow Russell Wilson can teach Justin Fields to be a better passer, then I'm all for it. Teaching Justin Fields how to run the ball, I don't know how much.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I'm saying Russell can teach him how to extend plays with his legs rather than trying to run the ball down the field. And it's not that that's a bad thing. That's a great tool to have in an moment. We see what that is with the Bears. We see what it's like when he runs for 100 yards. Like, it's cool, but it's not going to win you a Super Bowl. So what wins you a Super Bowl is being able to extend the play outside of the pocket and make the disgusting pass.
What wins you a good Super Bowl is an O-line and a defense.
Okay, I'm talking about specifically for Justin Fields right now.
Yeah. Hey, how about this? How about we wrap this segment up? $10. Justin Fields stays on the Bears.
I'll take it.
All right. Easy $10.
You think Justin Fields will be a Bear next year?
I do. I think he will be a Bear.
All right. I don't.
I definitely don't think he's going to the Broncos.
Are we saying by the start of the season or by the end of the season next year? Like
start
by trade deadline?
Start of the season.
Okay. All right, I'll take it.
So in the offseason, he makes a little move.
The Bears make a move.
Yeah, the Bears make a little move.
I think so.
We can talk about the pain that Josh Dobbs had to endure.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, I wasn't watching the game. I was at work, but I had it up on my phone. And
hey,
you know,
go ahead. Let's hear your pain.
it didn't feel good. It didn't feel right to see an interception and then another one. And then it definitely didn't feel right to check 30 minutes later and then there's 4 interceptions. It just hurts me deep inside to see a man who can dream. A man who's been through so much and overcome so much. I don't like it. I don't like that Josh Dobbs is losing his magic. I don't like it at all. I wanted my Tom Brady moment. I wanted my Aaron Rodgers moment. I wanted my boy to go over there and be great. And I hate it. It hurts my heart to watch this man throw 4 picks. And I think he had like 95 yards passing or something like that.
It's one game. It's an anomaly game. Every quarterback's going to have one. I'm not too worried about Josh Dobbs.
I hate it. I don't like it. And I there's nothing about that game that I liked. And it's somebody else's fault. It just has to be. Definitely not Josh Dobbs' fault. That man's a saint and a rocket scientist and an American hero. I don't know, man. I didn't enjoy it. I don't want to see it again. It's like watching your dad get punched in the face. That's what it's like. That's what
they're
it felt
still
like.
going to make the playoffs and they're still going to bounce the Cowboys in the first round. Okay.
If they bounce the Cowboys, oh my goodness, that'd be amazing.
They're still going to win. It's still, yeah, dude.
Yeah, screw the Cowboys. That's the only team that I want to never be great. I don't think there's a single quarterback or a single team that I want to be in turmoil except for the Cowboys. I'd feel good about that.
Okay.
But yeah, let's all pray that our boy Josh Dobbs next week aims high. Aims to the moon and maybe he'll get there.
If you want more content about us every day, you can catch us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at buffet.sports. We post every day, if not multiple times a day. The weekends are the hottest time of the week for us. We're switching to a new format where we'll have multiple pieces of the podcast out throughout the week rather than one long shot. So hopefully you'll stick around with us for that. And hopefully Justin Fields isn't a Bear next year. See you next week, y'all.